4th. We just had non-farm payroll, job miss on the US side and the CAD side. We'll take a look at the screens here in just a moment. Let's jump into the risk disclaimer. We know there's risk in trading. Please and always use trade capital only. You know the deal. Social media, make sure you're following me. I've got the youtube.com/Chris Pulver live sessions, verified Twitter account, also a Discord channel that I'll post in the YouTube chat. And free to join, free to chat, and just a good place for me to centralize all my content. So come one, come all, traders are welcome, and happy to have everybody. All right, here we go. Calendar. Let me get a drawing tool up here to annotate. And unemployment news. So we had 205 expected, came in 187. We had a revision from 209 to 185. So currency strength for the morning is showing some dollar weakness. Here is the currency strength chart. We see the CAD dropping, dollar dropping sharply right after non-farm payroll. We're looking at the markets pushing up a little bit higher. We had a slight gap. 448.84 was a close yesterday. We gapped up towards 450. I've got a big level at 453. Yep, 453 would be my bullish target today. 447 or lower would be my bearish target. I think the market's going to like the idea that we had a lift in Amazon yesterday. Apple, I think, was mixed. Let me check here on Apple earnings. So Apple earnings, we had a slight beat on both earnings and revenue. I think the revenue was less than last quarter, but still beat estimates, which is fine. Price-wise, though, we had a pretty big gap. I mean, from 190 to 185 on Apple. Amazon gap from 128 to 140. So we'll see if that's a quick gap fill. Watching price closely this morning to see where we push. So let's see if I can get a 4. I mean, we have a gap fill. Let's see, 448 to 53. That's a $5 move in the SPY. I might be asking a bit much. Probably set a 452. Let me take a look here. I might look at an option trade this morning. 452. Okay, I'm going to set up a trade here. So Delta Trader. Everyone can see my screen? Delta Trader. Opening gamma levels. Hedge levels. 453 target. Looking for price to pull back. Towards 450. Looking at the 451 or 452 long call. Right now, 452 long call. A4 expiration, 452 long call. It's trading for 77 cents. Price target is 453 to trap profit. That would be at 43. That'd be another $1.50. Let's see here, 43 delta. I'll just give what I think. So if we are at 43 delta at a $1.40 move, $1.40 times 43 delta, about a 60-cent move. So likely 125 to 130 credit. Okay, I'm going to watch that closely. All right, let me jump into YouTube, say hi to everybody. And I know if you're checking in on the Discord channel, see some chats in there running as well.
Introducing Iron Beam.
All right, nice to see a full house this morning. Najib, good morning. Dan, good morning. And what's happening? Simon, good morning. Linda, good morning. Ranjit, Chris, Dergis, Jan, Alex, Peter, Andrew, what's happening? Ruth Ann, good morning. Catherine, good morning. What's up? Denise, good morning. Matt, giddy up. Happy Friday, everybody. Discord server, Chris Pulver trading. Let me post that link right here. I'll post a link that does not expire. That's in the chat. All are welcome to join. 452. Yep. All right. Just gonna watch this for a smidge. See if we get a little bit of a pullback. Bulls are running pretty aggressively. The gap. So let's talk SPY for a second. Gap fill for the day. We had this gap from earlier in the week. I said it's going to be really important just watching this price, 150, 170. This is exactly what I did yesterday as far as my analysis in the trading rooms. We have this low right here, right? Now, this low is either going to be rejected by the SPY or this is going to run up and close into this gap higher, right? Which could make some sense. I mean, if we're going to see this as even if we have, this high is in place, I mean, I think the 460 high is going to be tough to grab. I really do at this point. So, if we're going to continue to see some lower moves, then it would make sense that this structure holds. But if we close up above 452 and get into this gap, then we're probably still looking at some sideways action here for August, and we'll see what September brings. But so far, market's looking to push a little bit higher, and we'll see if there's some push. 453 is the level I'm looking for in the short term. So I think we get there. All right, so we're going to build this out. And okay, so I will assess that here in just a second. Let me get back to the chat. Morning, FK. Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, John. Nice to see you. So that's what I'm looking at for the SPY this morning. Let me get this marked up. So we already had a close gap. Just get a couple levels measured. This larger line that's already been hit by price, this is where the previous low was. So I said earlier in the week that if we break below this, we want to be short. That was a good day from, was that Wednesday's trading? That would have been Wednesday. Yep. So nice short day on Wednesday. Thursday, I didn't place a trade yesterday. The best trade would have been a little bit of a grab right in here. We ran up to that 450 to 451. We did have a little bit of fade opportunity later in the day, but it is what it is. So I just didn't chase. I knew we had non-farm this morning, so I'm looking at some gap action. So bulls, if we're really just going to get a bull day, then we might just drift back up here, find this level, maybe drift into this pocket and this gap from the weekend, or from, I think that might have been, was that Monday to Tuesday? That would have been Tuesday to Wednesday. Yep, Tuesday to Wednesday was that big gap. Okay, morning, Don. Let's get to it. Let's go higher time frames. Talk through everything really quickly. Dollar index pulling back. I still like the dollar chart. We booked a lot of profits this week in the flex room. We took profit on euro dollar, profit on pound dollar, profit on dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is probably not doing much of anything other than indecision, but I'm glad we booked it. I still kept the 32.25 entry, 32.20 entry pending in case we have a swing. Because if we have a pullback here and then a push into that pocket, I'm still going to get a swing trade on the dollar CAD. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss pulling back. I'm still holding long in this one. Dollar yen, it's my least favorite yen cross. Let's look at something like euro yen. Euro yen, pound yen, probably two of my favorite setup as far as yen crosses go, with a lot of downside potential. Just need to see some more confirmation. We're getting close. Timing wise, I mean, August to September could be an interesting month just to put in a top. If we put in a top, I mean, I'm not really going to be chasing necessarily, but I'd like to see if we hold and just kind of roll over a little bit. Okay. Euro yen has a lot of downside potential. Pound yen, same thing. Pound yen actually looks a little bit more tempting to place a trade, stop loss above, and just see if we can go back and retest this low. So that's not a bad play. I just think that you have to trade short-term alignments, 1 hour or smaller, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute. Get your alignments, take your stabs, put stop losses in. Don't fight the yen crosses, follow short-term alignments. If we're right, there is a lot of room here and certainly a lot of room here. Okay, we could have some sideways motion, but still, I like taking stabs at these highs with some bearish confirmation. So it could be pretty straightforward. Let's see. Dollar here, pulling back a little bit. We'll see, right? This level, is this a, pullback for another push? We have this low. Is this going to be a head and shoulders pattern that gets us back to range highs? Do we end up filling this pocket on the dollar? We'll find out. I don't have a lot of trend direction other than, short-term ranges, which is what we planned on, identifying support, identifying resistance, and then trading those shorter-term trends. That's about it. Oil, right back where we started, 81.96. Oil has been on a pretty good rip for the last couple of weeks. 1, 2, 3 weeks to the upside, really 4 weeks to the upside. Pretty solid move. I think we're up 20+% off those lows. About 22% off the lows on oil. Energy's been pretty resilient. It's been one of the top performing sectors. Let's see. Uh, 451.75 past support that bulls need to clear. Okay, let's go the last month. Energy is one of our best performing sectors the last month. Last 5 days. Communication services, that's probably mostly led by Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see what's the top holding on this one. Google, Meta, that's all Meta. Yeah, Meta's had the big run. Plus, it's 25% of that sector. Let's see here. Energy's pretty decent the last 5 days. Fantastic, one of the best performing sectors last month. And yesterday, despite everything being down, energy is still up. So, man, utility's getting smoked. But energy is a good comeback. That was one of our beat up sectors from last year to this first half of the year. So I think that's a pretty easy value rotation going on right now. Let's go gold and silver. Gold catching some bid. I'm going to stay out of gold for right now. Our short position we talked about was around 1985, trying to get back to the 200 EMA, but just a short little scalp. Silver, I like 22 to 22.50 for buy trades. I'm holding a ton of credit spreads and a bunch of shares on SLV, so I'm still long silver overall, but just looking for more opportunities to validate this bull channel. And then Bitcoin, 29,260. Man, it's the volatility has really decreased on Bitcoin. Just levels that I'm going to be watching. So if we break below this monthly pivot, I think this looks pretty damaging for Bitcoin overall. We could bring in 25 and then bring in 20. If we somehow hold here, I mean, I guess it's possible we could have trendline support and maybe it just stays really tight, really tight like so, just tight, 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 and then we get another push to the upside with an uptrend intact. So if we hold this trendline support, Bitcoin's still hanging in there. I just think it's vulnerable to the downside with a chunk of pockets right here and a chunk of pockets right there. But we'll find out. But otherwise, it's been pretty quiet. I mean, once we poked at 31 to 32, all the rumors going on with ETFs and whatnot from BlackRock and big backings, we had some speculation, but we weren't really able to break that 32,000 level. All right, let's go. Just checking on some real term 453. Okay, so I'm going to look at a 452 this morning, trading at 78 cents.
Order filled.
Okay, so I am long 8-4 expiration 452, long call filled for 80 cents. Price target 453 and higher. Limit credit should be $1.25 to $1.35. So 453 gets us right back into that gap from earlier in the week. So I'm going to see if we hit 453, grab a few bucks right there. Okay, back to the chat. So that's our Bitcoin stuff. Let's talk currencies. Let's go higher time frame. Aussie CAD, again, we've been buying all these lows. So every time we've had the lows get a point or the bear score a point, we bought down here looking to buy. I still like Aussie CAD, even if this is a choppy range. I'm still going to hold longer. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, two trades that I like to the upside quite a bit. So I'm watching those closely. 453 chart alarm's already set. See if we can get back up there for the day. Aussie Swiss. This is the trend line I'm watching for right here. We break that trend line, take out a recent high. I'm a little bit more inclined to get a buy trade going. We might be talking about August, September when it comes to Swiss pairs. The Swiss National Bank decision is going to be in September. Their inflation readings have been better. They've been sub 2%. One of the few countries in the world that's doing that as far as major economies. So I'd like to see a bottom put in place on a lot of these Swiss crosses: Aussie Swiss, CAD Swiss, Euro Swiss, Pound Swiss, New Zealand Swiss, Dollar Swiss. I'd like to see some Swiss weakness across the board. Just being patient on where I scale in. I've told traders this for a while. 56 and 5,300, even 5,000. I'm willing to ride some of the Swiss pairs a little bit lower and just enjoy some of that positive swap, but keep the trade size really small. Okay. Aussie yen, staying out of for right now, just staying short term, but I don't really love that trade. Aussie New Zealand's, we're currently short around 108.60. Currently short at 108.60 and just hanging tough. So we're up about 80 pips. Just going to let that one try to come back and fill this RBNZ news pocket around 107 or lower. Aussie dollar, traders were short on a pullback around 67.50. Took profit here around 65, 65.50. Well, 65.50 or so. So we talked about taking profit yesterday on a lot of those dollar pairs. CAD Swiss back to some equal lows. I still like long in this one, especially on the right hand side of the trend line. We get right side of the trend line. I like that trade a lot. CAD Yen, leave that alone. Swiss Yen, if we can get this one to roll over like the Euro Yen, this side of the trend line, this is a really clean trade. Just need confirmation. Euro Aussie. If you were long, good spot to take some profit. If you're looking to get short, looking for confirmation to equalize, see if this range trade holds. So 1.6760, 1.6800, looking for rejections off that level. EuroCAD, we're pulling back a little bit. I'm still going to just ignore EuroCAD and stick long on the CAD Swiss. Euro Swiss possibly coming back down to equal lows. There's a big demand zone, pocket zone right around 95 to 94.50. I would also just be looking for a simple trend line right in here. We break that trend line, looking at a double bottom formation. If we can get one to hold around 94 to 94.50, Euro Swiss could be a beautiful, bottoming pattern, 3-wave move to 5-wave move. A lot of upside potential if we can hold that double bottom at 94. Euro pound, stay out of that one. Euro yen, want to see some more confirmation on the right hand side of the trend line. Euro New Zealand, another one that looks okay. Pound New Zealand, Euro New Zealand, be careful on these. This looks tighter, tighter, tighter. If the bears are going to break, that's a great trade. I want to see confirmation. I'm going to stay out of Euro New Zealand for right now. We're getting, you notice how we're getting tighter and tighter here? The highs are getting lower. I'm sorry, the lows are getting higher, so higher lows. And our structure here, I mean, my concern is that we break through this high and we just run. That's not really the time seasonality wise. I think 1.80 is a good resistance point, but if it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, I'd rather trade open space to the downside with confirmation on a rising wedge. We don't have that yet. Okay, we do not have that yet. Dollar. We took profit. Well, did we? Yeah, we did take profit on euro dollar. We did. So we're out of this trade. We were targeting this 108.68 low, didn't get there, but we took profit yesterday, which is okay. Coming into non-farm, it's fine. Pound Aussie, looking for a trend line break in here. Don't have it yet, but another rising wedge. Did want to see some confirmation on that one. No trade yet.
Autofilled.
Okay, I'm putting on a hedge real quick. Pound CAD, no trade. Pound Swiss is holding that 110.50 level pretty nicely. Let's see if we can get. This is a pretty straightforward trade. If Pound Swiss gets above this level, range highs at 115 to 116. If we break this level, I'm still holding positions that are long Pound Swiss for positive swap. If we break and go lower, I would just measure this move, probably somewhere back in the 50618 pullback zone, and then look to see if that heads up off a flash crash. Okay, Pound Yen. Like I said, I'm not going to take the trade today, but coming into our trades next week, I mean, I don't mind looking at this trade. Stop loss above, if we get some alignments, even if we range trade it back down to lows, put a stop loss to break even, see if we get lucky to fill some of these demand zones. Some of these bigger pockets that are available to the downside. So I'm not going to take the trade today. I'll look at it probably Monday. Pound New Zealand, this is another one like that Euro New Zealand. Watching closely, watching for confirmation. Don't force trades in this chop. If it breaks and gets to open space, easy sell trade. Okay. If it blows these levels off, just be careful. That's what happens when price gets pretty tight. Pound US dollar, if you were short at 28, 28.50, we're taking profit in this one, or just moving your stop losses. New Zealand CAD, I'm still long. New Zealand Swiss, another one I'm looking for a trend line break right here. Probably there. A little bit more conservative trend line. See if I can find a bottoming pattern in here. Looking for a bottoming pattern. Okay, you good on that, Zeus, with a pound of Zealand? I see a rising wedge, but I need to see confirmation to the downside. 210 is a pretty big resistance point. If it breaks above here, look out. Be careful on that. If we break this structure, then I like the open space sell trade back to where this whole thing started, probably around 2000 to 2.02. New Zealand Swiss, I'm still long. New Zealand yen, I'm going to stay out of. New Zealand dollar, we took some profit. If you were short, again, pullback, 62 to 62.50. Took it down to equal lows around 60.70. Dollar CAD, we booked profit. Dollar Swiss, we got limited out for profit this week around 8,800, 87.50. Dollar yen staying out of for right now. Pullback on dollar Sing, but I'm still going to hold long. Let me quickly check on some robots before I wrap things up and head to class at 10 o'clock. Let's go Perfect Storm. Perfect Storm, little range trade robot, 362 pips this week. That's Perfect Storm Pro. The original Perfect Storm, that is 363 pips. Wow, that's almost exactly the same. 362 for the Pro and 363 for the regular. Pockets Pattern Pro made 233 pips. My Equalizer Pro had 1,135 pips. Both. Wow. So I had the buy and the sell this week, just crushing an equalizer. 1135. That's ridiculous. 1135. Oops. 1135 plus 1942 or 1914. So 3,000 pips on Equalizer Pro. Pretty awesome. 233 on my Pockets Pattern Pro. Perfect Storm 363 and 362. So overall for the week, just on a robot trading, 4,007 pips. We sprinkle in there a couple of discretionary trades with the flex callouts. We took some profit on the dollar crosses, and that brings us to a pretty good total for the week. Plaza says, how come you're looking for bearish confirmation in yen crosses? Just sitting, I mean, we're sitting at kind of ridiculously overstretched conditions. Even the last stretch here, if I go to like, let's go Euro Yen. I'm just looking for some rebalancing here. I mean, we're sitting here near these crazy highs, this low, this high. We had a pullback. I mean, look, I'm not ignoring what the yen can do, right? I just think that if this trend line breaks, if there is a yield control, right, the yield curve control by the Bank of Japan, what we are noticing on the Japanese 10-year bond is that it is drifting higher, right? So the last time we've seen this type of move or this type of move or this type of move, the Japanese yen has made a big move. And right now, even though we're making this run, we haven't really seen the JPY cooperate. Now, maybe the difference is we have, carry trades, right? So the BOJ is still sitting at negative 0.1%. Maybe that's enough to kind of keep things steady and elevated. But if there's any type of change with monetary policy, and this is kind of the question is like, will the Bank of Japan flinch? And if they do, there's going to be a ridiculous over. I mean, we saw this happen a lot last year when the Japanese yen finally started to show strength. It happened swiftly. Like we saw 3,000 pips to the upside, and within about what a month, and this was over like 9 months, by the way. And within a month, we had I don't know how many. We had basically a 38 to 50% correction within a month. So it is very volatile when it's going to make a move, and typically when you have a carry environment, that's lower volatility. So a pair that's going to get stronger and have no positive swap, the volatility is going to increase exponentially. We'll probably have double, triple trading ranges because of that. So I'm just saying the technical setups look pretty good. I'm not scaling into the JPY crosses. It's the last thing I want to do is fight the JPYs. But from a setup standpoint, I mean, pound yen, for example, after this run from 58 to 84, that's a 3,000 pip run. So all I'm looking for is even if we had a pullback to balance somewhere in here. So if we come up here, I can sell it nice and high, range trade it for 800 pips. Come back and trade it to equilibrium here by moving stop losses, get a couple thousand pips. And if there's a big price rebalancing, then we talk about just a swift restructuring, repricing of the Japanese yen crosses across the board. So it's just technical. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying that JPY can't get weaker. It's probably the one currency that does its own thing, lives on its own island, does its own radical stuff. And if you try to impose your will and bend the JPY to your wishes, you will probably pay the dear price. So be careful on that. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. It is 10:03. I'm going to wrap things up here and watching some trades, working out. Let's see here. So my SPY trade. So I put on a hedge this morning. I got long. I'm gonna have to cut that one off, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. We're sitting in between a couple of big levels. Let me share this other screen. Actually, I'll just take a screenshot. I don't want to switch up the broadcast really quickly, but I'm gonna look and see if we can get to 448. So let me put in a screenshot really quickly. This is what I've got happening here. So this is my short-term level. This thing is running hot, hot, hot. I was looking to get to 453 this morning. That's failed. And where did it fail? It failed right off that past resistance, or that past support becoming resistance. So now I am short at a 451 long put, and it is crushing to the downside. And I'm hopefully going to fill this, 448, 447, and grab some nice net profit on the day. So that is the plan. I'm going to let that one run. Our gap fill would come all the way back to the close at 448. 448 or lower would be my price target. I'm looking to see what my credits are paying there as well. So I'm going to try to let those profits run. But hopefully we are lining up for some big, big levels on the day. Let's see here. Yep. So just check the move really quickly. So we had that move to there. We've already moved up the average on the day around 0.65%. If we end up pushing lower, which I certainly wouldn't mind, all this is following the technicals, right? Following the technicals. We have past support becoming resistance. What a great spot to reject. If we can come back down and get to the week's low, that's going to be a monster day to the downside. So I'm going to try to hold on to that 451 long put and see if we can get down to 448 or lower. That's my next big level right now is 448 to 447. Hopefully we'll continue to push and flush hard. If that is the case, I will let those profits run. Okay. All right, sounds good. Equities on demand students, I'll see you in the trading room here in just a few minutes. And thanks for being with me today. Jump into the Discord channel. I put it in the chat. It's up near the top here. Let me post that one more time. Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Discord channel. If you do me a favor before you leave, hit that thumbs up button for me. Please, please, please. And appreciate the support. And I'll see you on Monday. Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye.